You guys have heard of Little Debbie. Well, now this is what Big Debra likes. This is the problem. We've started shooting these. I don't know how deep in. We've cooked a lot today. We got on the Parrot Bay because it's in the recipe that you guys are getting ready to see. And I know that you guys have heard of Little Debbie. Maybe even heard about a Little Debbie Scar Crunch, right? Here's the thing about Little Debbie. What happened? Why did it get so small? It got tiny. So we're throwing this away and we're actually making something that I'm gonna kind of name it BIg Debra. It's a BIg Debra Star Crunch that we're gonna make from scratch because Little Debra, she skinced out and she just started making them too small. So we're gonna make a BIg Debra from scratch Star Crunch. Then we're gonna top it with vanilla ice cream, right? And then we're gonna take some Parrot Bay and we're gonna make a rum sauce over the top of this. So loosen up the belts because you're gonna need to after you watch this episode. Let's jump into it. Okay guys, let's jump in. We really haven't been that intoxicated on this episode, but if you guys wanna skip this first step here and just use a Star Crunch, you can. You could probably heat this Star Crunch up, melt it, maybe like 3 of them, melt it, reform it, and probably have a BIg Debra, right? So, but today we're gonna actually make this from scratch. So first things we're gonna need is 2 cups of marshmallows, 2 cups of Rice Krispies cereal, 2/3 a cup of heavy cream, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1 stick of salted butter, my favorite part, 1/3 of a cup of rum or more, however much you want to use. How rummy do you want to be? Drink a little bit of it, make some more. Drink a little bit of it, make some more. Then we're going to have some 1/4 cup of Hershey's, what are those called? Chocolate chips. And then we're going to do another 1/4 cup of caramel chips. 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Get ready. We're getting ready to dive into it. Let's go. Okay guys, first thing we want to do, I'm going to get all my ingredients over here. I'm going to get my butter. I'm going to get my rum. I'm going to get my rum because I might want a little bit more, okay? Then we're going to do our heavy cream. And let's see what else we're going to need. My flour, brown sugar. So first thing in is my 1 stick of butter. I'm gonna wait till this gets melted. And I'm by myself, so I can lick my fingers here. Now the reason I'm gonna make this sauce first is because I want it to thicken. So I've got my butter. It's melting down. As soon as this gets melt down, I'm gonna start to add my flour, and I'm gonna cook that flour for just a minute. It's almost like a roux. This is gonna be the base to this sauce. This is what's gonna make sure that it's nice and thick. We don't want just some runny sauce that's going over our BIg Debra. BIg Debra. I like calling it BIg Debra. Okay. Now, I'm gonna get my whisk out here. I'm gonna take this off the heat. Let's see. I'm just gonna sprinkle in a little bit of my flour. A little bit more. And start to cook this. We want to cook that flour. Start to make that little bit of a roux here. And it's a little thinner than a normal roux. So I wouldn't call it a roux, it's just kind of the base of some roux. 45 seconds to a minute. If I feel like it's getting too hot, I'm just going to lift it off of the heat. Now I'm going to throw in my brown sugar. I'm going to get this incorporated in. I'm going to throw in my rum. And I'm going to go ahead and cook this until it starts to thin up and that brown sugar. You want to keep it moving, keep it coming off and on the heat. You don't want to scorch this at all. If it starts to get too thick, just add a splash of water in it. I'm gonna go ahead and add my heavy whipping cream. Now, this is okay to serve to kids. It's gonna be, all the alcohol is gonna cook out. So, but I like to just sip a little bit on the Parrot Bay, maybe. Not that I'm a giant Parrot Bay Coconut rum fan, but it's pretty good. I have tasted it to make sure it was good enough for this recipe before I really got going. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up to temp. I'm looking for it just to start to boil. As soon as it starts to boil, I'm gonna go ahead and take this off, and then we're gonna jump back over here and we're gonna make our BIg Debras. All right, so time to hit the BIg Debras. Half a stick of butter in. I'm gonna let this get melted. Just a medium saucepan, sauce pot, whatever you want to call it. All right, chocolate chips, caramel chips. Keep this moving, low heat. Do not get in a hurry with this. We don't want to just burn our chocolate. So, really simple. The caramel is going to take a little bit longer to melt. Like you can see, the chocolate's already melted down. Just work this in. Don't add anything else until everything is melted. Control your heat. On and off the heat. You could double boil that if you wanted to really get technical with it. You could use a double boiler just to make sure you don't burn your chocolate. But this butter in here, it's kind of protecting that chocolate a little bit. Just keep it moving. All right, my caramel's starting to melt a little bit. Make sure you're scraping those sides. Scrape the sides. All right. Go ahead and add my marshmallows. Start folding my marshmallows in just to get them melted. They'll melt pretty quick. Again, you can see I'm taking it off the heat, back on the heat. When I feel like it's going to start burning, just pull it right off. And it's hot enough now, it's going to melt all that together. But I don't want to start throwing those Rice Krispies in there until it's completely all broken apart. No whole marshmallows. Perfect. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of heavy cream. All right. Perfect. Now for my Rice Krispies. Fold all this in, making sure that they're all extremely coated. And if you feel like there's not enough, don't be afraid to add a little bit more. Like that's kind of what I feel like. I might add a little bit more Rice Krispies to this. I added a little bit more just so it's a little thicker consistency. Perfect. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Wax paper. And start forming your BIg Debras. However you want to make your BIg Debras is up to you. I like my BIg Debras that big right there. Because I'm going to put a big slob of ice cream on top of that, the big old scoop, right? So, and you could actually take your spoon, press in a little divot so that it'll hold your sauce and your ice cream. I'm gonna do this a few times. Again, that's how the right size of a Little Debbie Star Crunch should be. Like these little tiny things are, it's sad. You know, I hadn't eaten one in a long time, and I got a box of them and I opened it up and I was depressed. I feel like I kind of got duped a little bit. Somebody pulled one over on me. Okay. I think we got enough for one more. There's a lot of recipes online. I mean, that's where I picked up this one on how to kind of knock off a Star Crunch, because I was going to make this for you guys with just a Star Crunch, and I was going to heat it up, but then I saw how small the Star Crunches went. I was like, I'm not doing that. Let's see if we can make one from scratch. So that's what we did. So it's actually the first time I'm making this one. Simple. Okay, so I got 5 of them down. I need to let these cool for about 30-40 minutes. I'm gonna slide them in the freezer and get them nice and cold, and then we're gonna plate them up, and it's gonna be awesome. So stay tuned for this. Show you what we got. All right, guys, I just pulled them out of the freezer just to like ultra cool them off. I want to show you something. This is your normal Little Debbie compared to my BIg Debra. This is what I'm talking about. This is why you just need to go ahead and make these things your damn self, because this is what's going to really make it. So let's throw that away. We don't need that. First things first, I'm going to get a very thin spatula. I'm going to pop one of these bad girls off of here. Like this. Slide that down. Bluebell ice cream. Use whatever you want, but we're in Texas, so when in Rome. Get us a nice dollop of ice cream. Coconut rum sauce. Just like that. And then I'm going to hit it with a little bit of cinnamon. And there you have it. That's simple. Here's to you, BIg Debra. A little bit of ice cream and a little bit of Parrot Bay rum sauce. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a taste. I already know how fabulous this is gonna be. So I'm getting a little bit of the ice cream, a little bit of the BIg Debra, a little bit of the rum sauce. Damn. Way better than the Star Crunch ever thought of being. Little Debbie who. Anyway, Gabe Spencer, Scattered Chef, thank you for watching this. Oh my gosh, I gotta stop. But anyway, thanks for watching this. Thanks for jumping in the kitchen with me. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for always coming to the channel. Every Wednesday, every Sunday, we're gonna always be dropping stuff for you guys. Make sure to tune in. If you want to be reminded, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.